Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Connor on Connor's Retribution Analysis, and I am competing in my first local tournament. It is a cavalry casters only local tournament, so lots of one list, team or people because there's only usually a couple casters that are cavalry casters in each faction. So I'm going to be playing Vyros 2 and only Vyros 2. And this is the first local tournament for me. I'm pretty excited. New faces, new meta, new group. All exciting stuff. And everyone's really friendly. There's lots of laughter. It's very cool. It's nice to see. So I've got a Vyros 2 list, and it's got a Trident, and it's got battle mages, and it's weird. But across the table from me is weirder than the weird that I just described. It's Xerxis, who isn't weird, but it's I think like 14 savages. it's as many savages as you can put in the list. What's also even weirder, besides that, is that my opponent is not a Scorn player and has, for some reason, 14 savages, but is not a Scorn player. I didn't ask him how, and I really wish I had asked him why he has 14 savages, but it's really cool. So we're going to get into this, and it's Xerxes 2, so they have Field Marshal plus 2 speed. They get Hands of Fate for the feat and are all in his control range. So for one turn, there's just a million Fury on the board, and they murderize everything. Rapport keeps them in control out of range and gives them Mat 8, and then Ignite makes one hit a little bit harder. So that being said, I get the roll to go first, which I'm pretty happy about. And I just run up the board, and that's where we are. Oops, wrong way. His turn. He can only run so many of them without having Fury issues. So he sticks one of them out here on the right-hand side. He runs one of them right in my face to try and pin me in. And then the others just kind of make a line. And they're all pretty much in my threat range. So pretty quickly here, a key observation to his list is there are no solos, and there's a min unit of beast handlers in the back. So it's at this point where I realize I need to start scoring points, because every single point I score, there's a good chance he's not going to be counter-scoring, unless Xerxes awkwardly sits on that flag, which in that case, he should just be Imperitus food. If I can contest that square zone on the left over here, or rectangle, and I should know my geometrical shapes. If I can contest that every single turn meaningfully, and after his feat turn where they have to go out of command, there's a good chance I just can completely prevent him from scoring. So that's my plan. Let's get up there. Let's get some stuff done. My basic plan is Trident's going to shoot a bunch of them, build some synergy on this guy, and send a synergy Griffon over there to try and take out the ones that the Trident doesn't kill. And then put down a Covering Fire template with Manticore, because there are only armor 12. I have to move forward, so my basic plan is to not feat and take a little piece of pie right here, right behind the house, and just kind of chill out. And from that spot, I should be able to fight my way out of it and give him as little as possible. So what ends up happening, going the wrong way, is I think I kill one savage. Oh, and also a battle mage ran all the way over here. I could have tried some poles, but I really wanted to contest that zone. And if a savage goes all the way over there to kill a battle mage, that would make me pretty happy. So I end up really messing up two savages and killing one, I think, or maybe I didn't even kill any. Yeah, I did kill one. I can see a savage way up there in the top right-hand corner off the board. But it's kind of a bad trade, because I was hoping he doesn't kill my Trident, but he's going to, with his feat, basically remove this Griffon, this Trident, and I think over here, I was fine with him charging Vyros too. he charged Vyros 2 right there, and just he had to boost a hit. I just shaved all the damage roll since it was only a POW 13. And I was completely fine with that. Also, this Griffin that I sent all the way over there was out of synergy range, which is why it didn't get the work done that it needed to get done. I pulled back my whole line, and this is very, very precisely out of range of his threat, or out of his threat range. So, I went the wrong way once again. That is what happened, and he took my Trident, which was really sad, and he took my 2 Griffons, which was also really sad. But he put his whole army out there, basically, for me. I'm hoping to get a lot of work done as a result. I need Vyros 2 and this Griffin over here. Also, he's very, very hot on Fury. So what I'm thinking about trying to do, since Xerxis is only Fury 5, is there's these 3 guys back here that have no Fury on them. My goal is to try and kill these guys. Also, there's an Agonizer over here crying, which is super annoying because it's behind a house and I can't get to it easy. My goal is to try and kill the guys that don't have any Fury on them and to keep the guys that do have Fury on them alive, because they're probably just going to frenzy, and the ones that don't have Fury on them are going to be the ones that are doing meaningful work next turn. So the basic plan is just to send in battle mages, send in Griffins, send these Griffins across the map, just kill a whole bunch of stuff. Vyros 2 and a Griffin are hopefully going to kill these 2, and Manticore and Imperitus are just going to get in there and get a ton of work done. That's more or less what happens. There's still a Cyclops here on a couple of health, and there's a Cyclops here on a couple of health because Battle Mages failed me. And this Cyclops is still here on a couple of health. But a lot of Cyclops has died. And so his turn, he basically feels like he has to get rid of Imperitus. Also, this is a Vyros 2 feat turn. He has to get rid of Imperitus because there's nowhere really Xerxis can run and still be effective in the game where Imperitus can't get to him. And that's a bad feeling. It's a bad feeling. Because then he has to be camping full Fury, and then it's going to make his Fury management for next turn super, super hard. It's not a good feeling. So I agree with his decision. He puts a bunch of Savages into Imperitus. He puts a Krea into Imperitus. He puts everything into Imperitus, and Imperitus ends up dying. Xerxis goes in there and gets in range of Manticore and Imperitus, kills Imperitus. Manticore walks away and takes the free strikes because Xerxis has like 3 more Fury left and has Sprint, so he's going to get out of there and still have some left. So Manticore just gets out of there with 1 free strike, and we end up here. But as Manticore got away, he is like, okay, whatever, I'm going to do a Stranglehold. So he Strangleheld Manticore. So Manticore's next turn is not going to be very effective. So now the goal is, I've been scoring this flag over here. I scored one on his end of turn 2, and then I just scored one. I can't remember if it's 1 or 2 yet, but the Arcanist has been scoring that every single turn and not been contested. So the next thing I'm going to do is clear this zone right here so I can get this scoring jacked up. So I leave at the end of my synergy chain Vyros 2 and Griffin to go over here and kill these guys, these 2 Savages, because one of them's messed up and the other one's full health, and Vyros 2 just has a ton of Fury or focus. He doesn't have to do anything with his focus. Manticore is Strangleheld, so he's going to beat on this Savage. Then these 2 Griffins go and get more Savages done, and Battle Mages just keeps charging Savages. It works out where I do score this zone, and I think that takes me to 3-0. And the board is like this. Pretty much everything happened the way I wanted it to. I'm trying to remember what happened here, so I'm going to peek into the future a little bit. It looks like he contested. So I think he sent in Xerxis to kill my Manticore and then sprinted away. And then a Savage beat on a Griffin. And he got a beast handler, slipped through here to contest there, and he ran a Krea over here to contest here. So my score is 3-0. And my simple plan is Battle Mage walks up into Beast Handler's back, kills Beast Handler. Vyros 2 runs over onto that flag. I pass clock and win the game 5-0. So now that that's all over with, we can talk about the more important and more exciting topic of this is a cool list, and I think it's the start of something cool. So let's talk about its problems. Let's talk about what we can do to shore those up. I got to talk with my opponent, who was fantastic throughout the entire game. I also want to mention his to-hit rolls were phenomenal, but he didn't need the to-hit rolls. He needed 6s, and he was rolling like 10s and 11s. And then on damage rolls, he was rolling 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, under average significantly almost throughout the entire game. Maybe things would have been different. I don't know. It was kind of just a brawl. So yeah, maybe things would have been different. But let's just talk about his list and leave this game out of the picture. I like it. There's a lot of attacks. There's really good threat range at 13-inch threats, and what there isn't is decent hit fixing, although Future Sight is nice. There's not enough damage. They can boost, but then their volume of attack suffers, and it's base POW 13s. And what's the other thing? The 2-inch reach is really nice. There's also not solos and units to really score zones and have a scenario presence. So with talking about that, I feel like there is something great here. Maybe just add in Tiberian, add in like a solo or two to score, and Tiberian for armor cracking, and it might be freaking awesome. Maybe you take it with me. My opponent was talking about how he took it with Makita 3, and it just got straight better. Apparently, Insight and Bulwark, where they all become defense 15, is really, really good. And then just Makita being on the board as another crazy threat that has to be respected. But yeah, like I actually really like the idea of this list. I think it's creative. I think it's very unexpected. When I first saw it, it kind of made me think about the stats of Cyclops and what's out there and how I'm going to deal with them. And yeah, I think it's just kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, it might have chops in the meta. It might be able to play into some of the things out there. It doesn't really have that crazy amount of tools, but I think it's just raw stats are very interesting and good. And Fury management really wasn't even a problem for a Fury 5 caster with 14 beasts. I think he did 2 frenzies, maybe the whole game. And that's also because I killed a lot of his savages, but I think that's just kind of the way it goes. It goes hot, really hot one turn. If you can make it so that he can't get the really good alpha that he wants, and it's just little partial piece trading games, kind of like how Fiona wants to play, or Kruger or Ron, that probably really messes with his Fury management, but most games aren't like that. Anyhow, let me know what you guys think, and I had a really good time with it. So that was my round 1. Moving on to round 2. Thank you for watching.